What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Look, I was over here preparing for another amazing episode, but look, I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so that you guys don't miss any of our amazing conversations. Have a new episode coming to you in five, four, three, two, one.
What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. I'm here with yet another amazing episode and an amazing guest. This guy is amazing because he offers the world many things, from flying people across the country to providing music and vibes and things like that for people to enjoy. Today, I would like to welcome John Alex Gatsby to BLK Talk. Welcome.
What's up, BLK Talk? How y'all feeling today? How you
I
feeling?
mean, we're good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be here with you today, my man.
I mean, you're looking good. You got the suit on. You got the beautiful view in the background. Amazing.
You see it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
I do. So we are a few days away from you releasing your project,
That's right.
MayDay. Like, how does that feel? We're a few days away. This project is about to come out. How are you feeling at this current moment?
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait to share my music with the world. I've been listening to it myself for a very long time. So I know that everything is exactly what I want it to be, and it sounds exactly how I want it to sound. And it took a lot of blood, sweat, years and tears to get here. So it's kind of relieving to be able to let that out. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of relieving to say, it belongs to the universe now.
Yes. So I got the opportunity to listen to a few of the tracks, but I also noticed some things. Like you said, it took a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and years.
Oh yeah.
So for you, you became an artist and released your first album, not your first album, I'm sorry, your first single about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, we really
And now you're releasing your first project, but the
yeah.
songs that are on the project are songs that you've been working on over the years.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When did you get to a place where you were like, okay, these are the perfect songs, and you had to take the time to make sure this project was exactly what you wanted it to be?
Yeah, yeah, because we didn't set out to make a project. We were just traveling back and forth from New York to LA before I moved to LA, and just working
Hmm.
on music with a different team of people and different producers and trying to craft a sound. So in that process, we made a lot of tracks. I think it's over like 30 or some tracks that we made
Wow.
the last. I've been doing this all in all for 5 years now. So I mean, I have whole albums that I honestly never released just because they just weren't up to par. So I wanted to make sure that when I did release, that it was always the best to my ability at the time in which I released it. So I wanted to take my time and be patient. I didn't know that we were crafting an album when we first started. But after working with Greasy and moving here, it became evident that we got some stuff here that we, if we were to coalesce them all together, we'd probably be able to make a decent project. So we started off with maybe 20 of those tracks, and then
Mhm.
whittled it down from there. Of course, being independent, budgetary concerns come into effect. Everything kind of
Yeah.
comes into effect when it comes to like what you can release and what you can't release. Working with producers, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure everybody on the team is paid up. So, obviously there was a little bit of concession in there, and I think that's normal in any type of production schedule. Um, but yeah, so we came up with what I think were 9 undeniable tracks, and I'm very excited to release it to the world. I'm happy to put it into the hands of the listener, and allow them to determine for themselves what resonates the most with them.
Now, for you, out of those 30 songs, how many of those songs like did you write, and like with no partnerships, no co-writers on the song? How many did you write?
Man, a lot. I mean, at least 12, because before I started working with writers out here in LA, um, I was writing pretty much by myself. Me and my
Mm.
producer, Invisible Will in New York, we would just go to the studio and he would make the beat and I would write at the same time. Later on, though, I started working with um my girl Jamel. She was a vocal coach slash co-writer. So I really, and even before that, really, I had Vio in the studio with me. So I always really had like a team. There's always been like a team effort. I don't know if there's a single song that nobody else has ever contributed to. That's not really the way in which I like to work. I like to work with
Okay.
with a team of people and a collaborative effort. You know what I'm saying? So we can feed off of each other's energy. But I would say a good like 12 or 13 before I started working with the RIAA, certified diamond songwriters and working
Mm,
with real industry folks.
okay. So
Yeah,
let's rewind it a little bit. So in addition to being an artist, you are a pilot.
I am.
Now,
Yeah,
when I saw that, I was like, wow, okay. So this man has a lot of different dreams, and you're going about achieving them in the ways that you are achieving them. So, how did you get into aviation, and how long have you been in the field?
um, let's see. I flew my first airplane when I was 10 years old. It was a birthday gift from my dad. We went up to the local airport in Greensboro called Air Harbor, a little grass strip, and
Mm-hmm.
it's called a discovery flight. So that was the first time I ever flew an airplane. That was a birthday gift. Uh, I had to sit on a phone book because I was too short to see over the. Yeah. And but I wanted to fly since I was 5 years old. So apparently the story goes I got on my first plane with my mom and I turned to her and I said I want to be a pilot and she was like, yeah, right, because the day before I wanted to be a firefighter and boys
Mm-hmm.
the day before I
Yeah.
wanted to be a train conductor, so but apparently yeah, I just stuck with it. So started doing that. I got my pilot's license when I was I think 17 or something like that. I remember I got my pilot's license before I could drive legally in the state of North Carolina because like I had a permit. So my parent like would have to be in the car with me to drive to the airport, and then I would get out of the car and go fly an airplane by myself to like Georgia. For
Wow.
it's all about building hours. So I just thought that was always funny, the fact that I could not drive by myself, but they would like I could fly a plane. But for me, flying was before driving, so I didn't really. I mean, I'm a good driver, but driving wasn't. I didn't want to learn. I didn't care to learn to drive because I was more
Mm.
interested in learning to fly, and learning to fly takes a lot of studying. So I wasn't hitting the DMV, so I didn't really care. But so I was a little late bloomer when it came to getting my permit, my driver permit, but I certainly got my pilot's license as soon as I possibly could.
So, being a pilot, what does that do for you as a person and as a black man? Because I know I did a story a few years ago on black pilots and how I think it was less than 2% at the time. If I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken, it was less than like 2% of all the pilots that were in the entire industry were black men. So for you, how does that feel to, be a pilot to have achieved something that not a lot of people have achieved? And I'm assuming you're doing good at it because I haven't seen you in the news. So
Yeah, we're still alive, right? That's a
right.
testament of a good pilot. A good pilot lives to land again. A great pilot lives to use the airplane again. So I might even be a great pilot. But with that said, um, I don't really, I don't know. I see that a lot of young black kids are getting involved in aviation now, and
Yeah.
that makes me so happy. Like I go on my TikTok and I see more than ever, and so I think that those trends, that 2%, it probably has increased in the last couple of years, and I
Mhm.
expect based on what I'm seeing that to continue to trend in upward. And we're really good at it. Look at the Tuskegee Airmen; they didn't lose a single bomber in World War II. So I think that it's something that we have the ability to do. I think that it's something that we're good at, and I think that we just simply needed exposure to it. Um, and I'm happy to be among the 2% or whatever that is doing it now, and hopefully I can use that platform to reach back and someday help out somebody else who is like me. As a little kid, because we're all just human after all, and we all owe it to ourselves to follow to chase our dreams and our passions in this life.
Absolutely. Now, let me just say this. I hope that while we're having this conversation and you're out there in that beautiful view, I hope no airplane flies past because I heard that every time a plane flies past, you like to stop what you're doing and just kind of, look at it and take it in.
That's
Is
been the
that
hardest part of doing these interviews, actually, especially the on camera, the off camera, because like even right now, this is the second time this has actually happened today. There's a plane flying over right now, and I think, and I want to look, but I'm trying to work on my media training here. I'm trying
you
to get it together.
no, but like for you, why is that? Like you fly them all the time. You've been in the industry for a
Yeah.
while. You've been on planes since you were young. Why is do you feel like that's something that still like is special to you?
I don't know. It's just like it's just something that happens. It's not even something that I really think about. It kind of happened. So I don't really know how to answer that question because I've never actually sat and thought about it. And only recently did really anyone ever point it out to me. I guess I don't know. Like I just do it, and I guess my friends just are just so used to it. So nobody's ever said to me like, "Hey, bro, have you realized that you stop and you look every time a plane flies over?" But I like to identify them. I like to, I like to look at them. The engines I think are cool. I think it's cool to think that there's somebody up there right now, heading to some far distance somewhere in the world. And I don't know, just all of that kind of really intrigues me. So it's something that I really like to do. But I like the engines. I like to identify the airline, the type of airplane. It just comes down to the passion. It's like me turning up the radio when I hear a good song. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Now, speaking of music, so you've been in the aviation industry for a while, and then you decided, okay, I have this passion of music that I have to do something with. What was that moment that just kind of was like, I'm gonna actually go full force with this
Yeah.
and become an artist?
Yeah. I was living in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I don't know. I was just kind of bored and I was tired of doing the same thing. My mom says that I hit a midlife crisis like in my early 20s, and she might be right. Because I was just like, I think I want to pursue this music thing. I think that being successful in aviation and being successful in the aviation business side of things let me know that I can really achieve all my dreams. So music was always really my first passion before aviation because I used to love listening to Michael, Prince, Whitney, all of them as a child, and I used to emulate and dance in the living room. So it was obviously
Yeah.
something that I had an interest in, but society told me that you have to have your day job. Don't do that. And not like anyone in my family ever told me. The society told you that you don't do that. You go to college, you get a day job. And so that's the safe bet. And so it took me going and doing that and then realizing and then going beyond even and starting a business and then realizing that really in this country in particular, you have the opportunity to do everything, anything and everything that you want to do. And I think that you owe it to yourself to try. And at least if you don't whatever make it is, at least you did give it your all. When it comes to the end of the days, you're not sitting there saying, "Oh, I wish I would have tried that music thing." Like we talked about it, but you just never really did it. So that was kind of the defining moment for me. And so I decided to move up to New York and start my record label and start focusing on making music. And then through that process of meeting different people, decided that I would move to LA to work with a different production team and continue to grow my brand. And I like the sunshine as well.
Hold on. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, yeah. Did I drop out?
Oh, no, no, yeah. I think I dropped out on my end, but
Oh,
I can
okay.
hear you.
Okay, okay, cool.
So, so for you, like most artists, when they're releasing music or they're preparing for their career, they come up with an alter ego. Now,
Hmm.
for you, I'm pretty sure that John Alex Gatsby is that full real name. Where was the decision to become your true authentic self when you became a musician, as opposed to creating that alter ego?
Yeah, well, I mean, Gatsby is not my actual real name, but John Alex are both my real names.
Oh,
Gatsby was actually given to me
okay.
by my friend Orozo in New York, and it's because I think it was a culmination of the lifestyle and like the way in which I really try to portray myself out here. Out in New York, we was having a good time. We was partying. It was sections. It was balls. It was up and down. It was ace of spades. Like we was having a good time. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, what I started doing
Yeah.
was I started throwing. I probably shouldn't say this, but what I did is I started throwing parties. I had this penthouse and I started throwing parties, but I didn't want anybody to know whose house it was. So that kind of played on. If
Mm,
you're familiar with the story of the Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, he used to throw these elaborate parties, but nobody knew who he was. So I
yeah.
was doing something similar, and my boy Rose was like, "Yo, you moving like Gatsby, bro? Like you moving like Gatsby?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, we are entering the Roaring Twenties again, so like it all just fit." So I was like, like why not bring the Great Gatsby back and make him black? You know what I'm saying? Because he probably should have been black anyway.
Mm. I mean, he probably was
He probably
on the
was.
low.
Let's,
He probably
let's be honest.
had a little bit.
He was given like a Frank Lucas kind of thing. He was smuggling the booze. Remember?
You are absolutely correct. Now, for you, like understanding who Gatsby is, understanding who you are, and understanding who the artist you want to be is like, how does all of that work together? What part of the artistry is you, what part is, a little bit of that Gatsby person? Like, who are we getting
I
when
think
we hear you?
I think it's both. I think it's all me. I think that I embrace that lifestyle that is that. You know what I'm saying? We comfortable. We live in luxurious. We really are out here doing it. We really didn't this is not a rags to riches story. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to come from a good upbringing. I'm very blessed to my parents worked very, very hard to make sure that I could chase my dreams out here and I'm doing it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing that lifestyle and motivating people in a different way. Not everybody has to come from the hood and from the trenches. And if you do, you still can make it.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's cool that we showing people that you can do anything and everything that you want to do, and you owe it to yourself to do it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, you're simply going to regret it. And my biggest fear in life is not death; it's regretting not doing something that I wanted to do. So if I can motivate
Mm,
and influence anybody else, especially the younger ones, to do anything by really living this lifestyle and really like living it up, then that's what I intend to do until the day my heart stops.
mm. I know that's right. So let's talk about your sound.
Okay.
Now, I listened to a few of the songs, and I was just like, okay, this is nice. This is a song that the pop crowd can appreciate. And I'm like, oh, hold on. Now this is a song that the strip club can appreciate. And I'm like, hold on, this is a song that you can ride down MLK Boulevard in any city, and you can bump this in your box Chevy. Like, how do you define your sound?
I think of it as genre bending. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think I
Genre,
know each song that you was talking about. The strip club anthem you was thinking was "Make a Dance."
make her dance,
The
yes.
drive down the MLK, you was probably thinking "Man Eater." No.
Nope.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Man Eater to me is kind of the more poppy one, because we'll get into Man Eater in a minute. Um, was it Therapy?
Oh, therapy. Yeah, therapy a little hard. Therapy a little hard.
Yeah.
Got that 808 slap. Got that
It,
808.
it, it was a little strong. So
It's
I
a
was
little
like,
strong.
okay, so he has a
Brace
lot
yourself.
of different genres, within the music that you're releasing. So for you, like, do you come how does the ideas for like all of these songs come, and how you're gonna put them out?
I think like I said, it was a culmination of 2.5 years. So I
Mm,
think somewhere along the way, I had a little twerk moment where I wanted to make a twerk song. I wanted to make her dance.
yeah,
And then somewhere along the way, I'm driving down the 405, listening to Man Eater by Hall and Notes. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. For me, I'm inspired by everything that's great around me. And so, if I'm in the hood, I want to listen to Make Her Dance. If I'm driving through Compton, I'm listening to that Make Her Dance. If I want to push up in Malibu and up the Pacific Coast Highway, I'm listening to Penthouse in Tokyo. We bringing back a little
yeah,
bit of No More, So I think that I'm influenced by every um variation of environmental factors, you know what I'm saying, that are
right,
happening around me. And that influences the musical sound. I never go into the studio with a preconceived notion. I never go into a session with I want to make this type of song, because I let the heart lead, and I feel that this comes from
mm,
the universe. I feel like this is sound is energy, and energy is frequency, and that's all derivative of the universe. So I open myself up to what the universe wants for me, and I allow
yeah,
that to play through my voice. So I think the key for me in my production process is to not going in with any type of preconceived notions. Now, my emotions will determine the type of music. So if I'm going through a heartbreak, which unfortunately for me is more common than not, especially living in Los Angeles, then that's going to influence the music that you're going to hear. But sometimes, like I said, I just want to dance, and sometimes you just want to make a twerk anthem or a dance club, a strip club anthem, as you say, a club
yeah.
day. So all of that kind of comes into it. But I think most importantly is to allow myself to allow the energy to flow through me before I come with any type of preconceived notion into my production process.
Okay. Now, earlier you mentioned that some of your inspirations musically, Michael,
Yeah.
Prince, and those are the people that when you ask people who their inspirations musically are, those are the easy go-tos.
Yeah.
Now, for you, you mentioned Hall and Oates, and you recreated a song that they came out with and was a big hit for them.
Yeah.
Was it in the 80s? Now, who are some of those other artists that may not be as popular, but are fairly known artists that you are inspired by when it comes to life or like your music in general?
Yeah. Imagine Jordan's one. I'm trying to think, like you said, so lesser known artists. Well, I mean, I don't think he's lesser known, but like Lucky Day has really been on my
Yeah.
playlist. The D Mile, these producer artist teams that I really rock with. Anything Dark Child has ever done is phenomenal. Anything D Mile has ever put his pen to is phenomenal. Timbaland. I know I'm naming producers, but the producer really do determine the style of the music. So
Right.
anything that they've made and any artist that falls under their purview is something that I'm gonna really like and resonate with. Leon Thomas is killing it right now. Um, so anything Bruno Mars, anything The Weeknd, anything. I mean, those are mainstream big artists, though. I'd have to get back to you on like indie artists or something like that. But there are a few. I wasn't prepared for the question. My apologies.
Oh no, no, no. It's good. Like for me, now if anybody was ever asked me, like, of course, the ones that have hit number one because of their entertainment value,
Mm,
you always have to give them their flowers, give them their credit.
always.
But then there are those other people like Stephanie Mills or an Anita people like that who may not be but they did contribute something
Yeah.
to music, to your life personally. I know like Dionne Warwick, like this woman, man, like I discovered her on a different level during COVID,
Oh
when
wow.
I was much like you hosting parties at my house. And I understood that this woman was literally the blueprint, or is the blueprint for a lot of music that would come after her. Had it not been for this song, then this song wouldn't have come out, and this artist, so those are the type of things that I'm
Mhm.
referring to. So
Yeah, yeah. I go for the producers really because the producers,
okay.
they're the ones that I really studied the most because they create and they formulate the sound. But if you're talking old school, Gladys Knight and the Pips is always going to be something that like I think about, and they definitely I don't think they got their full flowers, like they could have. um
Yeah.
Midnight Train to Georgia is one of my favorite songs ever. So I like I said, they do exist in my wagon, in my noggin in here. I just can't think of it right now.
Yeah. So, like I said, a few days from now, like you are coming out with your project,
Yeah,
MayDay.
that's right.
So, first of all, let's get into the name. Of course, that's an aviation term, but for you, why was it important to call your project MayDay?
Yeah, so we made that song based off of a story that happened in real life to me of an engine failure in flight in a single engine airplane. Luckily, we were able to get the engine restarted, and I'm here with you today. Their airplane's fine. But we I definitely have had a few experiences in my career in which I've been um it's been like kind of iffy as to whether or not we're gonna make it out of this. And so we were talking about like the process of what that looks like. And then I think that if we can intertwine that with a love story or a heartbreak story like we did in that song, that really does describe, my life. And I think that resonates with a lot of people. Everybody's been through love and loss in their life. And
Yeah.
um sometimes it feels like a little bit more lost in love, but I guess that's just how it is. But I wrote based on my experiences, so it was cool to write a song that blended my passion for aviation and an incident that happened one time with my love for heartbreak apparently. So so it was easy to name the project that because the name Mayday insinuates an emergency. It insinuates I want your attention, and insinuates that there's something that's happening. So I think that it was the perfect name for the project, and it also, like you said, is an aviation term. So it's a kind of a small Easter egg for those that do dig deeper into who I am. There are small little aviation references in a lot of my music. Um, but again, like if you don't know, then you don't know. You may not get it right away. So these are little Easter eggs that I kind of left throughout the project that kind of show you, who I really am as well, and the things that I'm passionate about. So Mayday was just an easy title to come up with, and it fit the vibe, I think, of the album wholly.
Okay. So if we're gonna go with that aviation theme, so hopefully you got everything you needed to get out on this album. So the next album could be lift off, take off, like the process of loving, of becoming, one with the person that you're gonna be with. So I got you. I've never been a songwriter, but I might help you on this next one because I got some ideas flowing through my head already.
I love that. From your mouth to God's ear, we will find that. Amen.
I know that's right. So look, so I'm gonna name the songs, and you're gonna give me 2 words that describe them for you. Now,
Okay.
these are your songs. You've sat with them for some years, for some time. So
Mhm.
this hopefully should be easy.
Okay. Two
All
words.
right. First time I met you.
Alien invasion.
Oh, well, damn. Okay. Penthouse in Tokyo.
Uh International club. Like an
Okay.
international club scene,
Enough is enough.
Heartbreak Hotel.
Mm. Mayday.
Concerned listener.
Man eater.
Femme fatale.
Change your life.
Elevated lifestyles.
Make her dance.
Shake that ass. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I'll take it. Calling.
uh, uh, keep in touch. Keep in
No
touch.
more.
Not me.
No. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back and listen to all of these, and I'm gonna see if those words line up. Now I was listening to Man Eater, and I'm like, okay, it's definitely your version of the song.
Yeah.
What made you choose that song?
I feel like the song chose me. We were studying. At the end of the day, I think that music and being a good musician is studying those who came before you. And I think that Hall and Notes are a fantastic team. I think that they really tapped into to the urban R&B genre back in the 80s. And I think that they got their honorary cards. They definitely are welcome at any barbecue. So you know,
Just don't bring them together.
oh well, yeah, because they don't get along, right?
Yeah.
um, but maybe they will. Maybe we can bring them together. That was kind of something that we thought about. We actually talked about it. It's like it would be cool to do like a reunion and have them like come and perform, and then like we come out with the new joint. That would be super dope, like as a tribute. Um, but I'm sorry. What was the question again? I got distracted. My apology.
Why did you choose
Man
Man
eater.
Eater? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it shows me, I like that melody that oh here she comes. It just sat right with me at the moment, and then like I said, that femme fatale story and everybody in the room who was helping and engaging on the project was talking about their different stories of, love and loss and heartbreak and like, how sometimes, people will trick you and things like that. So it all fell into the theme for that song and then while also paying homage to a great. So it all kind of came together on its own. Really, I feel like the song really chose me, to be totally honest with you. It was so easy to make because it just felt like it fit in the moment.
Now I don't know if my ear is tuned correctly, but as I was listening to the song, I was like, okay. Now I wasn't like right up on the speaker, but in the back of my head, I heard a little bit of thong song.
Ooh, that girl so dangerous. Nobody ever
I
could
did.
handle it.
I
You're
was
the
like,
first person to peep it. You're the
okay.
first person to peep that. Yes, we did. We also were inspired by Cisco and all those guys too. So yeah, you're the first person to actually note that. I told you I left little Easter eggs in the project, and I promise if you go back and listen to that project again and really listen, you'll hear a lot of different motivational influences.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to do this again, and then I'm gonna have to come back with my essay and
You
tell
got a
you
good
what
ear.
I learned by listening to the entire thing
You
over and
got a
over
good ear. You
again.
definitely got a good ear. You got it.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And that is why we like to cue the music. That is another platform that I created where I kind of dive deep into like different things music related. So
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
I like that. Have me
I
on there.
appreciate that. So, look, what can the people expect not only from the project, but you as an artist?
I think that you should expect the unexpected. I think that you should
Okay.
expect it. I'm gonna always try to raise the bar and always try to do something different. Um, and just know that we out here to do our best, and we here to distract you from your life, and our job is to entertain. So that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Okay. I appreciate that. And why, oh, why should people download, stream, purchase not only the singles, but the entire project and anything that you have coming up in the near future?
I think you should do it because number one, you'd be supporting an independent black artist. You'd be supporting an entrepreneur who's out here trying to make his dreams come true, and you'd be supporting somebody who's trying to entertain you. And from the bottom of my heart, if you would do it, I would certainly appreciate you. Don't do it out of pity for me, though. I think the music speaks for itself, and I think that if you do look in this album, you'll find something that resonates with you and something that you can utilize to make your life a little bit better. And if I've done that, then I've accomplished my goal.
I love it. I love it. So, like I said earlier, congratulations
Thank you, bro.
on everything that you have already accomplished. Like, it takes a lot to get to a place where you've even decided to put out a body of work. And congratulations in advance on what's to come, on the good reviews, off the music being played in the strip club. Now, if the strip club gets it, then you know the world is gonna fall in love with it. So congratulations on everything that you are accomplishing. Keep the world entertained, keep the world safe up in that sky. And I appreciate you.
And thank you so much, Q. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on your platform.
Yes, indeed. And we'll chat soon when we get ready to write the next album.
Let's go, my brother.
All right, have a good one.
Right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys download, stream. The links will be in the comment section. Appreciate it.